Here we go again. As in all of my videos about Tyson Fury, he just proved what a person he is one more time. It's not a conspiracy for me. I know with a 99% confidence that the whole injury is staged. The whole cut thing is staged. Facts, facts. Here are the facts. Just correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm missing something and don't see the whole picture. So I'll start all the way back when Fury fought the last time Wilder, the last fight, and Usyk fought Joshua. So Fury wins, Usyk wins the first fight. Kind of they it was like kind of a semi final if you allow me that Olympic analogy. So all the fans want to see who's the best now, right? I'm talking about the last after the last fight Fury had with Wilder and the first fight Usyk had with Joshua. So they both win semifinals. There's no one else that was considered at the time a contender. Those were the best four. They had their fights. Two guys came up on top. And Usyk immediately starts talking about the undisputed fight. And I have here an article from the Zone where uh, it's dated November 2nd, 2021, just after a couple of months after he had a fight with Joshua. And I'm quoting here. Alexander Usyk, I look forward to fighting Tyson Fury. And again, it's November 2nd, 2021. I remember the word talks about step aside money for Joshua because he had a rematch closed there and so on and so on. So realistically, if Tyson Fury wanted an undisputed fight even back then, it would have happened. It didn't happen because of the Tyson Fury, but fair enough. They had other things going on, and it wasn't convenient and right to Joshua. Although he would have probably also considered it because he jumped straight into the second fight with Usyk and it backfired. Again, many people were talking him out of the immediate rematch with Usyk, but nevertheless, I think if Tyson Fury wanted a unification back then, it would have happened. It didn't. But at that stage, nobody's blaming anybody. It's just a normal thing. We're moving on to the next year, 2022. Fury fights. White wins comfortably. Usyk has a rematch with Joshua, wins. Again, there's nothing in the. I remember just after the Usyk had won the second fight with Joshua, he immediately right in the ring. I think even it was even post-fight interview where he said, "If I'm not fighting Tyson Fury next, I may not fight at all. I may not fight at all because that's the only fight that I'm chasing out there for my legacy." Okay, so there's a date, December, 3rd of December or something. There's a date. The negotiations start to pick up because there's a date. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember the situation as follows. They kind of enter into negotiations. Usyk had fight in August. Tyson Fury had a fight in spring with White. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was like April or March, 2022. And I remember this situation when they have like secret negotiations, not much information for the public, and so on and so on. And then information pops up that the fight is not happening in December. They had then a Saudi deal where Usyk agreed to his side of the deal for the fight, and strangely enough, Tyson Fury didn't agree his side of the deal, and that's why the fight didn't happen. Okay, fine. After Tyson Fury fights Chisora for the third time, in a fight that nobody was interested in. New negotiations start. For the Saudi, I think again it was for the Saudi and then for the Wembley. Usyk enters his camp. That's gonna be like the third time he's gonna enter the camp because of the Tyson Fury pulling out. So he enters the camp, and Tyson Fury, he had already talked in a multiple interviews that he's not interested in Usyk fight. After the first Usyk Joshua fight, Tyson Fury jumped in saying in the interview that kind of like Usyk wasn't in his like league, because there had been only like him, Wilder and Joshua, that they were in the mix of discussion who's the best, and now they kind of have to decide between themselves, and Usyk is out of that picture because he's an outsider to those talks. So then he was talking about he's not gonna fight Usyk because there's no money, nobody knows Usyk, and so on. That's not type. That's not the fight that would interest anybody, because he only fights with well-known names. Then he just says that he wouldn't fight Usyk because Usyk didn't speak English, or so on. So, and then Usyk enters the camp, and Tyson Fury comes back with this 70-30 split, which everyone initially laughs at, already understanding that it's just a way out, and surprisingly Usyk accepts it. Then they move goalposts further away, and when the team Usyk was fed up and saying, we know this fight isn't happening, because you're always going to be pushing and making us looking like losers, agreeing to all the master's terms and so on. So they said enough is enough and pulled out, and immediately all the media picked that up and saying it wasn't Tyson Fury's fault. That was the fact that Usyk's team pulled out. Frank Warren, Bob Arum, a bunch of those British journalists that are licking ass of Tyson Fury, they're all like, yeah. And here we have a fight signed for December. Just before Ngannou fight, the rumor circulated that Usyk had started his camp, and he had some shoulder, I believe, or some type of minor injury that may threaten the fight. And they're interviewing Tyson Fury on this, and he says, if that motherfucker is pulling out of December fight, I'm gonna sue him. There's a contract inked. So he cannot pull out of that contract because it's signed. There's no way. We have a contract signed. If he doesn't fight, I'm gonna sue him. And then he fights Ngannou, gets his ass whooped, barely gets a decision, and says, we need to move the fight. Hey, some people laughed at his interview a couple of weeks before that, where he had said that he was gonna sue Usyk for not making the December fight. Now he's saying like, we need to move the fight. I'm off for Christmas. Bye everyone. See you after New Year. And now this happens with the cut. It was carefully staged. Of course, if it was going to be staged, there was some planning, and they needed to stage it in a quality manner. But I don't believe it was done in a quality manner. They were like between hammer and how they call it, hammer and that thing that you hammer it against. So he was like between like situations. How do we stage it? If we make a quality video, everyone can make out that it wasn't a cut. If we make a bad video, everyone would be discussing why is it bad. And that's what they did. They kind of blurred out. They make it look like leaked, so it must be low quality because it's leaked. And you can make even Tyson Fury's face. You cannot make Tyson Fury's face. You're guessing kind of that was Tyson Fury on that video because like of the statue, and kind of it resembles Tyson Fury, but literally you can't make out of a face at all. And then they're saying like he was cut with an elbow, wearing a headgear. Like, wow, like it's kind of easy to get a cut and not. Like I remember when Klitschko got cut in Lou's fight. Immediately, like millisecond afterwards, you had like even in that footage in 2003 footage, you see the blood dropping just when the gloves gets out of the in the slow mo, gets out of the way. You see blood dropping like dripping, and literally a quarter of a second later, they were all covered in blood. Like Klitschko was covered in blood, and in a couple of seconds, Lewis even his gloves were and he was covered in that blood from Klitschko. Here you have Tyson walking back straight, looking into the camera, like he knew where the camera was. When I'm like sparring, sometimes like you're confused where your corner is, like just for a millisecond, you're like, oh, here, there, because of the things. But here they stop sparring, he immediately goes to the camera pretending that he has like posing like an actor, like he has a haircut, and there is no blood. It's like wipes, touches, there is no blood. It's a severe cut from the pictures. Like if that was cut made on that thing, like immediately the blood would be covering everything. Look at the fight where he had with Walling. Like a couple of seconds, he was all blood. He wasn't like super covered, but he was all bloody. A couple of rounds later, he was like all blood, and they were trying to stop it. The same thing I remember, just like slow motion footage. Lewis hits with a tearing shot, and that's why Klitschko got that cut, because it was like a tearing. He was like went through with the big glove through this and kind of tore the flesh away. But here with an elbow to make that cut, wearing a headgear, what are the chances? What a coincidence. He had never had a cut, and here before this fight he has a cut. And why the opponent like looks okay, throwing an elbow in a sparring with Tyson, where he is meant to prepare, not to win by any means, dirty tricks, but prepare him for a fight of the same, for one of the biggest fights in his career. He throws an elbow, a dirty elbow, threatening to jeopardize the whole fight. What kind of preparation for Usyk fight is that? Usyk doesn't fight dirty. He doesn't fight with elbows. You don't have to prepare Tyson Fury, making him cuts, thinking he's gonna prepare him better for Tyson Fury. So, as of my videos before, I was making one that when I explained how I view when Tyson Fury ducked Klitschko rematch, he won, and then Klitschko had a rematch and he played like the same thing with Klitschko. Just before the fight he pulled out, and then he kind of like retired, so not to risk anything with the second fight with Klitschko, because Klitschko could have and should have adapted. Despite whatever people say, Vlad Klitschko, he was kind of intelligent in his approach to fighting, and he had a good chance, a good shot the second final round to fight a better fight. I know he would have won or not, but he definitely had a better chance. And look at his fight. The last fight was Joshua. He was more open to engage the fight, and so on. So anything could have happened in the fight, and Tyson Fury just tricked him. Klitschko was a long reigning champion, a 8-year reigning champion. He had that close and immediate rematch for the right reason. All the good champions should have that. Just in case, Anyway, anything can happen, so you should have a chance to reclaim all the belts. And Tyson Fury disappeared until Klitschko officially retired. The second Klitschko said, "I'm retired," after the Joshua fight, immediately, miraculously, all the psychological problems of Tyson Fury get healed. He was healed. He was back in the picture. He wanted to fight, picking opponents that suited his style, and so on. So I given of what I've learned about Tyson Fury, given his past experience, given my ideas, watch some of my videos where I say that I doubt this fight is gonna happen, and I made a couple of videos about that. So it's not surprising for me, not at all.